Hey everybody, Tom Sparks with Sparks Media Group. So in this video, we're going to talk with Dani at LOD360 about how he took a e57 file from a Matterport Pro 3 and manipulated it with Revit to show how these files could be used to create architectural renderings. So it's an interesting watch, and I'm not a professional interviewer, but I did my best. And yeah, have at it. Let's take a look.
Can you see now?
Yeah. So just
Awesome.
for recording purposes, I sent you the E57 file from the Pro 3 camera of this house that I scanned, and it was about 2,053 square feet, I think, uh,
Exactly.
according to what Zillow said, on maybe a 7,000 or so square foot lot.
Yeah. So you sent me the E57. The E57 file is a file that gives you a lot of manipulation with the scanning. As you see now, you can access the 360 photos and measure the distance between a lot of what's happening here, architectural and structural things.
Yeah.
So with this, you can get a lot of measurements that will how do I say it will that you need to eventually model the beam model. There's one thing when you work with this type of point clouds.
Yeah.
There's a process that you need to go on. This process is called indexing. So you indexing all the bubbles that you see here. So it gets together the point cloud. So this is a really cool process because you go on site and scan all these things and you
Yeah.
get it together.
Daniel,
So
your screen is just showing the house. Are you showing me a different screen too? Because I'm just seeing the house. I'm seeing the.
oh yeah, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, it
You were
was.
mentioning bubbles, and I wasn't seeing that, so I just wanted to make sure that.
That's weird. Okay. See it now?
Yep.
Yeah.
So the
Okay.
E57 file includes the 360 panels too.
Exactly.
Oh
Includes
wow.
the 360 photos. So actually, you can measure
Yeah.
from here. As you see now, you get exactly what the measurement is. Uh, the point cloud that you gave me is actually, I say, 3 or 4 millimeters of error percentage. So
Okay.
it's a very good scanning. This scanning gives you a lot of information and also misses a lot of information. But we're going step by step. So the first process is get the E57 files, then indexing. When you index all of the scanning, you see like this. You can see the 360 photos, and you also can see the point cloud, right?
Yeah.
The point cloud will eventually gives you a lot of manipulation in the build model. Uh, it depends on how you work and what you need or what the client needs, because there's also later that has the percentage very low, and it works for structural models. As we working right now, we are working on an architectural model, so that's enough. Uh, Actually, when you design uh, the process of an architect and then going to a structural engineer, uh, when you do architecture, you don't need as millimeters as you need when you do structural things. I'm sorry if my English
No,
isn't
it's
good
perfect.
enough.
So just to kind of summarize it, you said that the E57 that was provided from the Matterport Pro 3, you found it has a 3 to 4 millimeter kind of percentage of error.
Exactly.
which you said is good, and that's great for architectural renderings,
Exactly.
which might be if somebody was going to remodel a house, they would want to see what the house would look like rendered based on what is already there and what they're going to add on to it,
Exactly.
that kind of thing. But if they're going to do structural, you probably don't want to use this level of a camera. You want to use a better camera system. Is that right? To get a more
Yeah.
accurate E57?
Well, don't get me wrong. You could work with this. This is not the best way to work with this point cloud, but you could work with this. Uh, there's people that doesn't like to give a try for Matterport because it says the percentage of error is very large.
Yeah.
But actually, this is a new technology, and it depends on how the professional works with this, right? So, in my opinion, in my professional opinion, it could work with structural things, but it's not the best. In the 60s, in the 70s, this type of technology doesn't uh, did not have any solutions. So we worked with pencils and markers. So yeah, it
Came
could
a
be
long,
done.
came a long way.
Exactly, it could be
And
done. So I'm going
and
to show you right now the beam model.
and
If you have any question,
before we jump into that, just to kind of go back to the Pro 3, what
yeah.
Matterport is saying is that their accuracy is 20 millimeters at 10 meters. Does that kind of compute to what you found?
Yeah, it is actually that, but the resolution of the point is not as thin as it could be later of a Trimble
Right.
P40. Exactly. So
But if doing more scans, would that help? Like, so if I was out there and I only did the very minimum, maybe like 20 scans, I would think that you would have less data on the point cloud than if I was to do like 50 or 60 scans. So would doing more scans help make a
it
better?
helps. Yeah, it helps because the scanning, what it's doing is a 360 laser scanning. So when you get closer to some object, it will get more points of the laser,
Right.
and the laser will get together. This is a stadium that we have done with another later. As you can see now, the point cloud is very thin.
Yeah.
So it depends on what the project is. If you have a house of 400 uh, feet
Yeah.
square,
Yeah.
it could be done with Matterport. If you have a stadium that has a lot of detail, it needs to be with another later scan that has a lower percentage.
So sorry, I don't mean to keep sidetracking you, but what do you know what
Don't
camera you
worry.
use for this?
Yeah, this we use like 5 tools for later. We use a Trimble P40. We use a Navis.
Uh,
We use a Leica scanner. Leica, yeah, it was.
the 360.
Yeah, exactly a 360.
We
The
did
new one.
I just recently did a stadium with the Pro 3.
Oh, awesome, awesome,
Um,
awesome. How
and
how?
I'll share that with you after the call. We did it for the E57 file, and it was an extreme amount of work. Um, so, why did you use? Well, okay, we can talk about that later. We'll go into that later. I'm just curious about your stadium project, but yeah,
Okay,
let's talk about the house.
okay. So yeah, for the house, I think the tool is good enough to make a good model, a good architectural model. As we can see now, we are missing some parts of the roof.
Right.
So So yeah, that could be done, and could be more the level of detail could be done more exactly if we have more information.
Sure.
Uh, so I can give you an example right now of what we are missing. I can cut the house here
Yeah.
to see more stuff. I don't know if you have used um, recap.
I used it for 5 minutes one day and I got confused, so I stopped.
It's actually really easy. If you need help with anything, you can reach me and I will help you. So let's see. So this is the whole house. I already cleaned the the point cloud,
Hmm.
so you can see much of the house, but we are missing some parts of structural things. We can see here how the beams and the roof works,
Right.
how the but we cannot see how um, the
Yeah.
layers of the roof, right?
Yeah.
So there these things happens a lot. Also, we need to be careful with the things that the point cloud gives you and are not real, like this right here, right? This is a
Oh,
reflection of the window.
yeah.
uh, this is normal. uh, any material that reflects the laser of the scanner will give you the point cloud on this. So it needs to be, it needs to have a process where you can clean all of this stuff so it can bother when you start modeling.
Right.
But yeah, it helps a lot that you have the 360 photos and you can see how exactly the the house is, right? And you can, as I say, you can start measuring all types of stuff and and bring it to to the model, right?
Yep.
hmm I don't have if you have any question or if you need.
Well, I'm curious to see the BIM files that you created, like what level of detail you were able to get out of it, because Matterport offers BIM files at a level of detail, level of design, I think is LOD, level of design, or level of detail, but 200 is what they offer.
Yeah, I think I got a 200. I don't think I have been able to scale to 300, but the LOD, level of detail, level of design, or level of development, this is a term that hasn't been stated for an how do I say it? The meaning of LOD is very various
Yeah,
between
it fluctuates between.
institutions.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So when a BIM manager specifies the LOD, they do something that is called the BIM executional plan, the BEP. When you do the BIM executional plan, you give a special works to the one that scans, to the one that models, to the one that coordinates the model, and everyone, it's going to be open in this BIM executional plan to specify what is the reach of the model that the client is looking for, because sometimes the BIM models doesn't need to be LOD 300 or 500 if the client doesn't need it.
Right.
So that's why the BIM executional plan works a lot with this. And the BIM coordinator defines how the LOD works. Uh, as I say, the meaning of LOD varies between institutions, companies, and projects. So when we have a project, you need to be able to define your own LOD meaning, because the LOD meaning gives you a lot of information. So I will show you the BIM model right now.
And I
And
think just to kind of summarize what you're saying,
yeah,
me, if I was a client and I wanted a BIM file, I would tell you, here's what I need. I need um, doorways drawn in. I need windows drawn in. Um, I need electrical outlets drawn in, but I don't need, like measurements of wires and plumbing and all that sort of thing. And then is it true that from there you can kind of get a BIM executable plan together?
executional plan. Yeah,
Executional plan?
executional plan. Yeah, it also works as you say. Uh, the LOD works with disciplines and also works with objects. As you say, LOD can be done for an exactly window or
Yeah.
can be done for the whole model. So when you give LOD for object, you will see this type of information. So let's see this window. You can let me see. Okay, so you are seeing this window as you are watching right now. It
Yep.
is a wall and a window that has the exactly measurement of the point cloud. But this is the real LOD.
Okay.
When you see LOD, you are actually, and I'm sorry if this is in Spanish, but
My
when you
Spanish is very little, but I'll try to translate it.
yeah, actually there's Spanish and English
Yeah,
between
yeah,
this,
yeah. See, it's mixed up.
but
Like,
when you see an object and you define the LOD, you need to define a lot of stuff. And this is the construction, the graphics, the materials, the dimensions, the analytical properties, the data. So this is exactly the data that LOD is talking about. When LOD is 100, it's commonly that it's only 2D or just pure information. When it's LOD 200, it's still 2D, but with some more information.
yeah,
And with its LOD 300, 350, or 400, it's a three-dimensional object that has all this type of information: constructional, graphics, materials, codes, I'm sorry, dimensions, analytical properties, data. And these work with all that stuff, right? With doors, with
and
beams, with walls, with all that type of objects that are in a construction.
and you put all that information in, is that right?
Exactly. Well, the information and
Meaning like glass window and wood frame, is that stuff that you put in?
is stuff that you can put in and edit, and it also is stuff that is uh, already manageable.
Well, I guess like who specified that that was a glass window with the wood frame? I'm just curious. Is that what does the software recognize that and put it in, or do you have to say this is a metal
We
frame?
have
This is
how do I say? We have a library. We have a library with
yeah,
all that stuff: windows, doors. So the companies gives you this. Let me give you an example. A window company called, I don't know, Windows,
yeah.
gives you these beam models so you can put into the beam model. And if you have it in the construction, you just put in and edit the information. As you can see now, I edit the window in dimensions, but I didn't edit the materials, the construction,
I
the
got it.
graphics. So so that's why it could be a LOD 200 or 300, but with less information.
When
This
capturing, if you did not have a Matterport, and you had something like a Trimble or a VLX. Well, I guess the VLX takes 360s as well. But I guess my point is, because you have the Matterport and you have the 360 panels, you're able to see visually what items are. And so you may be able to see if something's a wood door versus a metal door, or a
Exactly.
wood window versus a metal window. But if you did not have that and you just had LiDAR, just a point cloud with LiDAR, would it then be beneficial for me as the person capturing it to also capture photos of certain items that I wanted a specific LOD on? Like,
Uh,
go ahead.
yeah, I understand what you're saying, and yeah, it helps a lot that you can have the bubbles, the 360 photos, the panoramic photos can give you a lot of information that the point cloud doesn't, because you can recognize it. So if you have an example, we have a white, well, uh, the table, right? We have
Yeah.
a wood table, but we don't know what wood is. So that type of information, we are missing that type of information. But you can uh, investigate. You can bring all this stuff and look for the developer of what of who
Right.
did it,
Yeah.
and get all that type of information. As I say, that happens with all that stuff in the house, as windows, walls, electrical equipment, floors. This is another type of floor,
Yeah. So
everything, right?
if this was a factory, a big factory that had pipes and compressors and, I don't know, generators and stuff, and I was walking through with a VLX um, for the point cloud, would it help to stop in front of a generator and take a picture of it to show the make and the model of it so that you guys could then look that up in
Definitely,
the LED? Okay, got it.
definitely, yeah. Because if you can give me all that type of information, actually it's faster to do the model, because you search for the object or
Yeah,
family, as we say. we
right.
can we say families, and you find the exact family, and you just put it, and it actually, it's like magic, right? You put it and it fits exactly. So
Nice.
so yeah. Mhm. I don't know if you have any questions. You can give me.
No, no. Can we switch back to the BIM file so we can see kind of, what would you deliver to me if I wanted a BIM file with LOD 200? Would it be a PDF? Would it be a bunch of images? What's the output that you would send?
It depends on the, well, for me it depends on the final client.
Okay.
uh, we have different type of clients. There's clients that wants the BIM model exactly, to then do the documentation and planification for eventually start the construction or reconstruction of the real site. And there is another type of delivery that you can give, well, a design, right? And a specific design. When you remodel the house, give a proposal, and you just give an image of how this will look. So it depends. This is a JPEG, an image, exactly. And you can give a point cloud, and you can give a view model.
Mm,
So right now I will turn off the point cloud, so you can see just only the house. I am missing some parts, but I can give much more information. But as you see right now, this is the model I use. Like here, if you can see this is not exactly
the fence.
the fence that
Yeah.
we are doing. But if you need exactly the fence that you need, in this type of object, you need to do the fence, right? So this is like an extra process,
Right.
and that happens the same with all objects. If you need the roof exactly as it is, you need to go to Revit and actually do from zero the roof, right? If I can find a window of if I can find a window of the same proportion, I need to model that window and then add it to the BIM model.
Got it. So
So
for a house, it might be pretty easy because not easy, but for a house, it's a certain amount of work because maybe there's a lot of common items in that house, common window sizes, common
exactly,
building materials. But if you're doing like a oil refinery, that would take probably a lot more work because
exactly,
everything's very specific, I would think.
exactly. As I show you the stadium was a really hard process because actually the stadium was built on 1964. So when that happened, they didn't have a lot of tools that we use right now.
Yeah.
So you actually could see some columns and some beams that are rotating that you can even model in Revit. So yeah, and also happens a lot of with electrical or plumbing installations that doesn't do anymore the type of the pipe.
Yeah.
So you need to do the pipe and do all that process to do exactly as the point cloud is.
In the
That's why
example of a column that's rotating or maybe a pipe that's sagging because of
exactly.
weight, you're not able to model that at all?
Yeah, you could be it's able, but
Just a lot of work.
it's a lot of work, exactly. And sometimes the constructor or the one who will rebuild that actually doesn't need it.
Okay.
So that's why it depends. But as you say, pipes are some things and structural are another different things. When you need, as you say, a pipe that for the for the gravity is lowing,
Yeah.
you actually doesn't need it. But in a structural discipline, if you have a column that is turning, you actually need that because
Right.
you need to study why it's happening, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why. But coming back to this example, you can see how architecture is good enough, right?
Yep.
There's something that needs to be reviewed as this, right? But it needs a pillow, right? And it's lower from here.
Yeah.
Uh, when you see this is exactly, this is not exactly the same because I don't have exactly the same, I
Sure.
think, I'm sorry. I don't have exactly the company that made this sofa. So yeah, that's why this doesn't reach to a LOD 300, but because it needs a lot of uh, information that is missing or that we need a process to investigate what is and then add it to the model, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
So if we were to leave out all the furniture, um, and just keep the fixed items like toilet tub, kitchen cabinets, that sort of thing, do you think that you would be able to get a LOD 300?
Definitely. As you are watching right now, actually, I find the exactly toilet.
Yeah.
I find an exactly I don't know how it's called this
The tub?
uh, the top, yeah. And I made this. because I didn't find it, so I made it from zero, right?
Yeah, so I think maybe for residential, um, I would think that furniture wouldn't be important for a BIM file in residential, because maybe
Yeah,
somebody's doing a remodel or whatever, and furniture is not going to be there anyway, or furniture changes. Like,
yeah. Well, it depends. If it depends on the client, right? If your client actually ask for a remo of interior design, you actually need the the
okay, that makes sense.
if they do just architectural from outside or walls from the inside, it doesn't matter. If someone asks for another level or another story, well, that you need to have a lot of disciplines, mechanical, electrical, interior, architectural, and structural, right? So yeah, I made a render from this because I was very excited because I haven't been rendered from a point cloud. So this could be, as I say, some delivery if the client needs. Uh, it works a lot right now in Guatemala. This is a very, very, very new thing. So we are like the first company that is offering this type of deliveries, and yeah, it's a good opportunity from here. I don't know how it's happening in California. I imagine they are using a lot more. And yeah, I don't know if
Yeah,
you have any questions.
we're using I'm having some renders done for an apartment building that's under construction. And
Awesome.
so they have we got floor plans, and then we had dollhouse floor plans rendered, and now we're having actual photos rendered of what the space could look like, so that the
Awesome.
spaces could be rented out. So the renders they've been popular. They're getting, I guess, more popular because a lot of people are very hurry up, let's get it out there to start marketing it, but they don't have a finished product yet, so they want to get
Exactly.
a render of what a building would look like. And actually, when we're done with this call, I'll show you some examples. We had a building rendered, and then I went out when it was completed and took pictures, and it looked very, very similar, which is amazing.
Gotcha.
The person did the render, did a very good job, and the construction company did a very good job, and they matched up, and those two people had never talked, never met or anything.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's good. No, I don't think I have any questions. What I did want to know is, can we promote your business and have people contact you, if they want
Definitely.
BIM files made? Do you want me to actually, what I'll do is, I'll get all your information and put it in the video, so that people can contact you that way, if that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. If you want to offer as you as a company, it's okay too. We can still work with, I don't know, with some budget.
Yeah.
You can say it to me. It depends on the project. It depends on the type of project. If it's an industrial, habitational, commercial, it depends on that. It depends on the size,
Right.
how many square meters are, and it depends on the disciplines, right? How many disciplines you need to get this BIM model. Um, you can offer as you want. Actually, we also work rendering. I will show you some rendering. I don't know if I show you some rendering. Let
No.
me.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I have this here. I have a lot, but this is rendering, right? This is photos.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
those are
this
nice.
comes from BIM models, so it works a lot. Also, if you are, I don't know if you know the reach of this type of models, well, you actually can see when you see a wall, you can see the structure, the graphics, the materials that you're using,
Yeah.
the analytical properties, and you can give like an exactly cost of a construction if you need it, right?
Oh, so you can give an estimate on how much it would cost to build it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow, that's good. So I just wanted to thank Dani again at LOD360 for going over this with me in great detail. And I'll put a link to his information in the description of the video. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them below. I try to answer everything. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to my channel, I'd greatly appreciate it. It helps out. And feel free to share the video if you think it's useful. Thanks for watching, guys.